What's up, folks? That is right. Your eyes do not deceive you. This is yet another 1v1 series today on this beautiful March Saturday evening. This is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss this time. So nice little change of scenery compared to the matches we've had earlier. Depending on if you guys were watching those, of course. This is going to be between the green Zerg player in the top left, Yellow Jello, and his red Protoss opponent in the bottom right. It is Timbo Slice. So, yeah, like I said, ZVP. Best of 7, and I don't know if these guys are playing for LeBron to be benched tomorrow in their fantasy basketball matchup. Yellow Jello says nah, but Timbo says he's doing it. That's if Yellow Jello wins, of course. He was asking Timbo to let him win that matchup. Does that count as collusion? Yeah, probably. I don't know. Yes, maybe. Yes, definitely. However, Yellow Gel did say nah, so he does have plausible deniability. Don't know if that holds up in court. Anyways, Yellow Gel's gonna have to win the series first before that even becomes a factor. Not too much to talk about in terms of the early game. I mean, it's pretty standard stuff that we are used to seeing here. Nexus, Gateway Core, entry from Yellow Jello. He's got his speed on the way. Double Queens on the way. Didn't catch the exact timing, but not really going to deviate too much in that department. Maybe some slight sub-optimization, but it doesn't matter terribly much. Tooling's going to slowly chip away on these rocks. It's going to take about 33 years. Third base on the way for the Zerg players, so that's nice to see. Always want to be at least one base ahead, typically, unless you're going for some crazy shenanigans. And on Timbo's side of things, getting a sentry, that's curious. Don't really see that out of Timbo too often. Curious to see what that is for. Maybe he just wants to like hallucinate Phoenix to scout, maybe skip the robotics facility. We shall see. You can also use it to force field in case like a big Ling flood comes in, but that's not really Yellow Jello's MO, so doubt we'll see that at least this game. Little safety cannon here, also not too useful again because of the lack of aggression out of Yellow Jello. Hallucinates a warp prism. That's interesting. Maybe he wants to fake like a drop, but there are no overlords in this path, so not really gonna spot that anyways. Stalker does take out the overlord. Not sure why he was going over there. The warp prism did give vision there, but could have moved back. So nice little pick off there. And now this fake warp prism moving on in, and it is gonna lose its life. Like it's gonna run out of time. That is. So Yellow Jello should be aware that that is a fake, and I don't think we will see any overcommitment to a spore crawler or anything. Now, Yellow Jello did invest a bit of money into these Zerglings, which are not drones, obviously. So a bit of a waste there. He's not really doing much with them other than working on these rocks, which is not very important at all. So yeah, this could have been a few extra drones, and we do see Yellow Jello trailing in that department just a bit. Overlord floating in for the scout. Gonna get pretty good scout. There as the stalker abandons its attack. Don't know if you guys caught that, but Timbo was working on Adept Glaives. I think maybe just a misclick or something. Cancel that. Now he's working on Blink. Do have those Lings now running across the map. And it looks like they might be able to deny this base. Not sure why Timbo left it completely naked while he put it down. See if these Lings can force the cancel before the Protoss army gets there. Cute little micro getting to the other side, but nope. Does get cleaned up. So those Lings pretty much a waste. They do a little bit of damage. So maybe later on in the game he can pick it off, but that's going to be quite a bit away. So nice little cleanup there from Timbo. Big round of drones here from Yellow Jello. And once again, we do see this awkward pathing. We got some going up there. We got some going over there. We got some going back up there as well. I really don't understand. Like, what? Huh? What? Like, he has them all rallied to this third base. So, like, what were they doing? And now we've got some more drones, like, re-transferring over here. And then 3 more going over here? What? I don't understand. Creep spread chugging along pretty nicely over here. 3 creepy queens there. A nice little Roachling Bane army. Just chilling on the outskirts here. Not sure why, but looks like maybe he's going for a bit of an attack. Observer. I'm gonna spot these roaches moving out, so that's gonna clue Timbo into the potential of an attack imminently. He is going to move his army down to this 3rd location. Does spot this Zerg army. So a little bit of awareness there out of Timbo, repelling that attack before it even got started. Now we got some Lings running across, and looks like he is in fact re-engaging there. Oh, they slipped through the door. That is very no bueno there. Timbo, it does come out to greet this Roach army, but this Ling run by causing absolute mayhem in the Protoss base does warp in a round of Zealots, but not before the Nexus is taken out. And Timbo pushing forward with his main army, going for the counterattack. Looks like these Zealots should be able to clean up those Lings. Does lose that Nexus, of course. But here comes that Protoss attack. Does Yellow Jello have enough back at home to repel this? Looks like, yes, he should. The spawning roaches should just be enough. This Immortal going to be doing a lot of work here. Obviously, Immortal's great against roaches. Guardian Shield being used by Timbo. Didn't know he knew how to do that, but that does reduce the incoming damage from these roaches. It looks like Timbo kind of running out of steam here with this attack. Didn't have a War Prism for reinforcements, of course. So it does get cleaned up by the Zerg player, who is now about 20 supply up, sitting on a nice 69 workers and 50 something. Make that 80 army supply. And, well, looks like kind of a awkward little attack there, or maybe a roach or 2 got ahead of themselves. Not sure what all these overlords are doing. They are just regular overlords, not dropper lords. So probably just a misrally or something. A big warp in of, sorry, not warp in, morph in of Ravagers here. That's a lot of Ravagers. Pretty scary stuff. What does Timbo have back at home? Nothing. Just a lot of money, as he usually does. No, he does have Lings and Immortals. That's something, but he's going to need to spend that money. He is trailing quite massively in terms of supply. Here comes Yellow Jello with that Roach Ravager attack onto the potential 4th base of Timbo Slice. He's just trying to get that up, but it looks like it's going to have to be canceled immediately. Cancel it. Yes, there we go. Okay, at least saving a little bit of money there. Now Timbo, he's trying to get a good position. I'm not sure if that was it. Dodging the Biles pretty nicely. In fact, they kill his own Overseer. Actually, really good cleanup here from Timbo Slice. Where is that Ling run by? Lings were in position to slip on through, but Yellow Jello perhaps a little too preoccupied with that main frontal attack. Does get pushed back. Forces the cancel, so that's nice, but lost a lot of supply there, did Yellow Jello, who is now trailing by a few supply. These Lings still just hanging out over there. Not sure why an Overlord was there, just to die. Perhaps, again, a miss rally. Now here come the Lings, and Timbo has not been on top of sealing up that door, so these Lings gonna find their way inside the main base again. Might be able to take out this Robo, and it does take out that robotics facility. Working on a gateway now. I think the targeting here could have been better. Maybe go for probes there, but taking out a Robo, that's not bad. That halves Timbo's Immortal production. And here comes the main ground army once again, going to force a cancel just in the nick of time. These gateways most likely going to have to go down as well. What are they doing? We got the Banelings rolling in this way, Lings trying to go in this way, so kind of just derping around each other. Zealots trying to run away from there. Not sure why this army's not doing anything. A lot of wasted time here from the Zerg player. Could have been using that to, well, do more damage to these buildings. But they do finish, so they are going to get taken out, except for this one, I guess. It would have been more economical for the Protoss player if he had canceled those, but one gateway survives, so that's one extra production facility. That is, if Timbo even hits his Warpins. Is spending his money to try to reclaim this 4th, so that's nice. Yellow Jello does have his 4th here in the forward position. Does have a Hive and Ultralisk Cavern here. I'm not sure if Ultralisk Cavern is really the right call, given that Timbo is going for double Robo Immortals, and he does have quite a lot of Immortals already. 8 on the map, and 2 more being produced at a time. So, yeah, Ultra's a questionable choice here, especially considering they don't have armor, which we don't usually prioritize in this matchup. He does have 1/1 attack already, so working on those armor now. But yeah, Immortals do so much damage to armored units, such as the Ultralisk. Probably not worth getting them, but still could be nice to have once you perhaps win a fight commandingly, take out these Immortals, and you can maybe re-hop on the Ultralisk. Oh, the Baneling hits pretty big on some of these Zealots. Timbo doing an okay job there, pulling back like half of the Zealots, I guess. Another Ling run by. Oh no, these Lings doing so much work here. Not just like harassing, but like forcing Protoss army to move back, be out of position, etc. Yeah, not too much damage. He didn't really run in and harass the probes, but yeah, keeping your opponent on the back foot, that's always good. And especially these Lings are very cheap. We do have double Spire over here from the Zerg player. Got some Mutalisks on the way, and this time the main army just barreling through the front here. Timbo trying to cut off its retreat there. Big storms. Whoa, those storms were juicy. They were fat with a PH. And yeah, pretty handy cleanup there from the Protoss player. But the Mutas have arrived, and what are they doing? They're just fighting Stalkers, and that's not ideal to say the least. He started with, I think, 13, left with only 7 now, and not even microing them. Gonna lose a couple more. What are you doing, man? Oh, geez. 13 Mutalisks, and he did almost nothing with them. It does make a big round more of Mutalisks, so he is going to go back up to 17 and then 4 more, in fact. Not sure if that's the right call, because he did show his hand there with the Mutas. Timbo can work on his defenses now. Going to put up some cannons. I don't know if he really needed this many in the main base. It's already mostly mined out. I think this base could certainly use some more protection, natural as well. And here comes those Mutalisks. This time they do have their targeting priority correct. And at the same time, going for a big ground attack. Timbo is going to have to defend on multiple fronts right now. And oh, these probes rallying to their deaths. Oh no. The humanity. So many probes going down. That's 15 and so many more peppered up over there. We've got a zealot run by over here on the fourth base or fifth base, whatever, of the Zerg player. This is such a scrappy game. Main army of Timbo Slice just so slow. He is going to the main, bouncing back to his third. He's been absolutely ravished. But Timbo is sitting on a substantial lead right now in terms of overall supply. His army doubling that of his opponent. Of course, Yellow Jello sitting on a lot of money. The roles kind of switched here. If Timbo goes for a big attack, that could be very scary. Not sure why Yellow Jello's not making stuff. Kind of focused maybe a little too much on the aggression right now, but it's working. Timbo is hanging back. He has lost almost all of his workers. He's got only 19 left, and that number is going to keep dropping. Well, a lot of these mutas fight cannons. But yeah, 19 probes. That is not a lot of probes. And more Lings continuing to stream in, and I don't know about this anymore. Kind of just throwing away the Lings. The multi-pronged attack was good, but now they're just kind of trickling in. You do not want to be completely throwing away your units. We do have 5 Ultras in production now, and again, I don't know if that's the right choice. There is still so many Ultras on the field. Archon's not too shabby against Ultralisks as well. So here comes the big counterattack from Timbo Slice, and this is kind of an all-in attack here. Ultras not quite ready. Even if they were, I don't like that unit choice. And they're going to be popping out from different hatcheries. It's going to be really difficult to hold. I think we might be seeing a Protoss victory in game number 1. Let's see if the... No, he's not even going to go for it. GG gets called, and Timbo does take game number 1. Welcome back. This is game number 2 in this best of 7 series between this man in the top left, the green Zerg, yellow Jello, and his opponent in the red, the Protoss player, Timbo Slice. Yeah, it really felt like Yellow Jello kind of threw that game a little bit. He was doing a lot right. I gotta be honest with you. The attacks, the multi-prong, the Ling run-bys, the Muta choice was actually liked it. However, the targeting wasn't it. Kind of fought Stalkers at first and then fought a Cannon. But they still did decent enough. I do think the big Ultralisk tech switch was not it. Against Timbo's army, he had so many Immortals, Archons as well. Yeah, the decision making a little bit lacking there, to be honest with you. So here we are, game number 2. Oops, let me fix the scoreboard there. That ain't it. It is 1-0 for the Protoss player. And yeah, fast expansion from both guys. Second Overlord just scouting around for any proxy shenanigans. Not really Timbo's MO, but still a good habit to just kind of cross your I's and dot your T's. First Overlord, of course, going to be floating on in. Taking a look at the front of the Protoss base. Going to spot that expansion. And then move on to this safe location. Hopefully, it doesn't look like it's exactly centered. Sometimes that makes it a little awkward. Double gas here from the Protoss. Pretty standard there as well. You do usually want more gas as Protoss. And from the Zerg, single gas, only one drone now, as he did mine enough to start Ling speed. 8 Lings being made right off the bat. That is about 6 more than you normally see, so we do have those running across the map. We do have the wall sealed up by a Stalker, which is less than ideal. You typically want an Adept or a Zealot, because the Stalker attacks very slowly, and as we see, can't really take care of these Lings fast enough. And so Timbo forced to remake or make a backup wall over here. One Zealot being chrono boosted out, but the cannon does finish in time, so crisis averted, and I do expect these, yeah, they do get canceled. And like I said before, this Overlord was not centered, so the cannon did spot it. Yellow Jello does correct that positioning over there. So a little bit of aggressive commitment there from our Zerg player. Didn't really end up paying off. Let's get just a single Stalker. It cost him the money for the Lings, and of course those Lings were not drones. So Yellow Jello trailing by 1 worker right now, should be up by, well, now he's up, but should be up more. And we do have a Twilight Council in production, or I mean researching Blink already. Robotics facility coming down as well. We do have a sentry being made once again. And yeah, sentries, like they're underestimated, undervalued. I'm not sure what's the right term. They are expensive. I think they're like 150 or maybe just 100. I forgot. They do cost quite a bit of gas, but I do think they're pretty useful. You use them for hallucinations to scout, so you can sometimes skip the robo or delay the robo. Overlord floating on in. And back to the sentries. Of course, they can use Guardian Shield, which is a very underrated spell as well. Reduces incoming ranged damage. So effective against roaches, hydralisks. More effective against Terran, but still, they do have their use in this matchup as well. Here comes that hallucination scout. Gonna spot that layer timing. Should see it complete there. Yep. Spots the Baneling tech. And the last thing out of the sentry is that they can force field, which can be very helpful to segment your opponent's army, so you only have to deal with a portion of it at a time, and that could be huge. Now, I don't think Timbo will really be using that, but still an option. Lots of Lings and Banelings on the field here from Yellow Jello. Smelling like he wants to go for a little bit of aggression once again. We do typically see Timbo a bit vulnerable to early-ish attacks. So let's see if this is going to work out. It looks like this is going to time out pretty nicely with Baneling speed finishing. Now, the Observer does get a scout on this, so Timbo does have a few seconds heads up, and that was not it for Yellow Jello. Running in with his Zerglings first, not really joined up with the rest of his army. Of course, Lingbane, not the best against what Timbo has, which is primarily Stalkers. Now, Timbo going for a bit of aggression himself. And Yellow Jello might get caught with his pants down. He was teching up pretty heavily, going for Lurkers right now. Doesn't have a whole lot in terms of army. And this is bad news bears. Single force field going down. Not sure about that positioning, but maybe he's listening, making me eat my words, because I did say I did not expect him to go for force fields. And now this primarily Stalker army forcing this third base to evacuate and going to be taking that out. Yellow Jello trickling in with his Hydras. Don't know about that. You kind of want to group up your units. Big aggressive blink here from Timbo Slice, going to clean up those Hydras. And now all Yellow Jello has is Lings, which he does trickle in as well. These drones kind of unbothered, still mining away. And yeah, look at this army control. Oh no, GG gets called in. Timbo takes the 2-0. Welcome back. This is game number 3 in this best of 7 series. Had a bit of a blunder there. Accidentally loaded myself into the game. Yellow Jello was probably sweating bullets there. But we have corrected it. This is the 3rd game in the series. I already mentioned that. We are 2-0. Looking at the main base of the man who is down. The green Zerg, Yellow Jello. And his opponent taking that last game with a big Blink Stalker attack there. The Red Protoss Timbo Slice. So Yellow Jello gonna have to show us something better. Let's see if he changes it up in any way, shape, or form going forward. Their standard match gas pool. And Timbo is gonna go for his same thing, I think. Gateway, Nexus, Cybercore. So, standard openings once again, and we'll see if and when these guys reveal their plan for the game. Double gas coming on down for the Protoss player. Zerg has mined his 100 gas. You see the timing kind of off here, and he is continuing to mine gas. Not sure if that's intentional. Hasn't started speed yet, so a bit sloppy here, perhaps, or indeed intentional. They're dropping that Roach Warren down, so perhaps skipping speed, or rather delaying it, most likely. Opting for pretty aggressive and early roaches. This is a bit of a commitment. So, gonna have to get some damage done. It does pull off drones now, however, so not gonna be like an all-in commitment. Let's see how many roaches he ends up making. Only has supply for 2. So, again, bit sloppy there from our Zerg player. And the Protoss does have his wall with cannon over here on the edge. Kind of an awkward wall. This pylon is an obvious weak point. I do think that is part of the wall, right? I do think Lings can probably sneak in there. And this cannon also doesn't quite cover that spot as well. So something to think about if Yellow Jello goes for this attack. And we do have, what is that, 5, 6 roaches. You do want to join them up. Okay, good. Hopefully, wait. Okay, yeah. He is going to join them up. I was worried he was going to trickle in with 1 or 2 roaches at first. 6 roaches. Let's see if they can find the damage. They are just up against a single cannon and a stalker, so there is a chance. But he's got to hit soon. And GG! That's it! Wow! Okay, I didn't think it was going to end that quickly, but Yellow Jello puts himself on the board. Welcome back. This is game number 4 in this best of 7 series. And this man in the bottom left taking that last game, putting himself on the board, swinging the momentum in his favor. It is the green Zerg player, Yellow Jello. And his opponent getting caught in that last game to that early aggression. Like I said, he's always vulnerable to those kinds of things. It's the red Protoss Timbo Slice. Let's go for Pylon Scout. Yellow Jello with the, I think, 15 hatch. So avoids the block. Not that Timbo has gotten it this series, but always something you got to be mindful of in this matchup. Sneaky Protoss is always trying to block your hatchery. Initial Overlord going to the back here. Not sure why. Maybe scouting the gold? So Yellow Jello a bit in the dark right now. I'm sure he assumes just the same build and he would be correct. But yeah, typically the first Overlord, you kind of send that to the front. But maybe it's it was an intentional, deliberate choice here because of this map, that pocket gold base. And pretty standard openings once again from both players. No cheeky aggression this time from Yellow Jello, only 2 links. And again, this Overlord positioning is a bit bad. No roaches this time around, no early baneling nest, so shaping out to transition into the mid game. Not sure what this Overlord is doing. Oh, where's it going? Why is it coming back to the middle of the map? It was in a good spot to float in later for the scout now. I really don't understand. It's going all the way back home. I'm trying to look for where that waypoint is, but I don't see it. Anyways, it's not really too useful over here. We do have that one Overlord in the front, so at least there's that. We also have a Ling spotting any move outs. So that's good. And gonna be a Twilight Council. Nothing being researched yet, but I would expect Blink just because he has 2 Stalkers already, as well as that Sentry, which he has been opting for lately. +1 attack being researched relatively early, and no, it's going to be Charge instead. Hallucinated Phoenix going to make its way over to spot this Overlord. That's a nice little pick off there. And then gonna go for a scout. Worker counts quite even. Actually, it's Timbo with a slight lead at the moment. And Yellow Jello. Baneling Nest just completed. No layer on the way just yet, so it's a little dicey. Does start that off now. Double upgrades. He does have the benefit of the gold base, of course. Only 9 out of 12. That's definitely a mistake there. You want to saturate that up immediately. You want to transfer exactly 12 workers because gold minerals is just worth so much more. Looks like we had an overlord perhaps fly in for a scout and get taken out. Must have missed that. Yeah, he does have vision of the main base, so something flew in, took a look. And interesting, Yellow Jello researching Overlord speed now as well. Hopefully uses that for information. Just constant scouting, you love to see that. Alternatively, maybe he goes for cheeky drops. Let's see. We're going to see a Hydralisk Den once again out of the Zerg player. And here comes Timbo with a bit of an attack onto this gold base. It's very naked. It's a very vulnerable spot. You can shoot at these drones from this location here, and it's quite difficult for the Zerg to defend because none of their units really have the same range. Otherwise, they have to run all the way around. So, yep. Gonna deny the mining there at least. Yellow Jello did have that forward creep to him, so at least he doesn't lose any drones there. But it's like this base most likely gonna go down. Ling's not gonna do a whole lot from this side. Again, miscontrol there from Yellow Jello. He does run back around, but is it too late? Well, I think if Timbo focus fired the hatchery, he could have gotten it, but you gotta get out of here. Recall or something. Oh no, losing all of his stalkers. That is not ideal. Doesn't even get that hatchery, so good cleanup there from Yellow Jello. Hallucinated Phoenix flying in once again for a bit of a scout. Timbo does have his own gold base, so yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but that was a heavy commitment. Didn't really accomplish a whole lot. Yellow Jello does have a fourth base as well, and still only 9 out of 12 here. Now it's only 6 out of 12 as he takes that gas. So yeah, you want to fully saturate that, buddy. Timbo does have his Tempo archives, does have a couple Archons in the mix already. Researching that Psionic Storm. That is a very devastating, scary spell to have. Now, one of the changes recently in the patch a few months ago, actually I don't even know when that happened, is that Nexuses have an ability that can replenish 100 energy. Hold that thought as Timbo goes for an attack. The Banelings get pretty decent connections. We do have lurkers on the field, so that's going to repel this army. Now, they're not at their full power yet. They don't have their hive upgrades. So Timbo, if he wants to engage with a ground army, he needs to do it before that kicks in. Currently, lurker counts at 4, going up to 6, I think. We do not have a hive just yet. So Timbo does have some time before those lurkers get truly scary. But it looks like he is shifting into the safer method of dealing with those. That is the Stargate. But this is a very scary army here from Yellow Jello, and not to mention he is 50 supply up. More than 30 army supply up. About 15, 12 workers up. So Timbo has some catching up to do. Let's see what he can accomplish. As I was saying before, Nexus can recover energy in a pinch, so those Templars can have Storm right away. But here comes the attack from Yellow Jello, burrowing the lurkers, and Timbo just standing in the line of fire. That is not what you want, and this is getting real dicey for the Protoss player now. luckily, perhaps for Timbo, is that there's nothing left other than these lurkers. Two Hydras do join in, but two Hydras not very scary. They are gonna go for this 3rd/4th base. Lurkers do burrow, so I think you kind of have to just give this up. It's so difficult to engage. Void Rays, I mean, they're a nice thought, but they don't really do too well against Hydras. Hydras just get shredded up by the Zealots. We see how garbo they are. 3 Lurkers, however, still chilling pretty underground there. They do finally get cleaned up, but at what cost? Oh, the Templars! And the rest of the Protoss army does get cleaned up. Yes, did these guys have enough energy? I don't think so. This is where that ability could come into play, but I don't think Timbo is aware of it. Big Zealots over here. Could have chased down these Hydras. Maybe the awareness wasn't quite there for Timbo Slice. But he has been beaten back, now trailing by 40 supply. And Hive about 70% done. Once that finishes, the Lurker SD upgrades can start kicking in. That is what GLSD stands for. Go Lurkers! SD is the order in which you should get those upgrades. But Timbo does have a little bit of breathing room now. He's going to try to get this 5th base established. Yellow Jello sitting on 5 and 6. Well, he's getting 5 and 6 bases. So everything kind of in Yellow Jello's favor right now. However, there is the great equalizer, which is Yellow Jello's army control. And we'll have to see how that turns out. I don't think even he can botch this, but let's see. Stranger things have happened. He is going for the upgrades in the wrong order. He's doing DS. You want to do SD? But yeah, the army just so massive here for the Zerg player. And all Timbo has is Zealots. And here comes the Zerg. And this is going to be brutal. He does have 2 carriers. That's something. But 2 is not a very large number. Hope that is not news to you guys watching this. And yeah, these carriers just gonna get busted out of the sky by these Hydras. Well, actually, he's not even focusing, but it doesn't matter. A single carrier, not very scary. GG gets called. Yellow Jello gonna tie up the score. What's up? We are back with game number 5 in this series, and we are tied up 2-2. We've got a series on our hands. This is the main base of the Green Zerg, taking the last 2 games pretty decisively. It is Yellow Jello. His opponent spawning in the top, Red Protoss. Won the first 2, lost the next 2. It is Timbo Slice. So we do have a bit of a momentum shift, starting off in Timbo's favor, but now firmly in Yellow Jello's. Let's see if he can keep that moving along as he goes for a pool first. Now, it's not super early, didn't catch the exact timing, but I think it was 16. I don't like this build, to be honest with you. Especially if you're just going for gasless and then hatch anyways. If you want to go for an early pool, I prefer like the 12 pools, even the 12 extractor 11 pool, or maybe like the fake expansion, like the 12 pool fake expansion, old school Scarlet build that she used to defeat Rogue in one of the GSLs many years ago. In any case, pool is finished. 4 Lings on the way. And Timbo doesn't have anything yet, so these Lings do have the potential to do a little bit. But it is just 4 Lings. Let's see what happens. Cybernetics Core does finish up, so this gateway needs to go to work. Does start, well, started a Zealot, but cancels it. So that's not good. Ling's gonna start working on the pylon here, and if that goes down, this is gonna be a nightmare situation. Why are there only 3 Lings, by the way? 1 Ling on scouting duty, so this could have been better. Before 4 probes end up taking out those Lings. 2 probes did go down, however. So, guess even-ish trade there. This Overlord was out of possession, so looks like it should go down as well. And don't forget, that's a bit of a commitment here from Yellow Jello. His economy not quite where he would like it right now compared to a hatchery first. But he does have the worker lead just slightly. He does have his double queens up and running, double injects. 3rd queen for the creek production on the way. Overlord positioning, again, not good. And mining away at these mineral walls. That opens it up for this base. However, it's another avenue to attack it. Your opponent does have to mine theirs out. But it is vulnerable to air. I don't know if Timbo is gonna be going for air this game. Doesn't do it too often in this matchup, but it is an option always. Yellow Jello going for that 3rd base now, getting an additional gas. Back on Timbo's side, does have his Twilight Council robotics facility +1 weapons on the way. And worker counts have evened up, 40 apiece. And just an additional gateway in the back. Starting to warp in some units. We do have an observer coming on in. And does spot that this has been opened up. Don't know if it's going to do anything with that information. Spots the layer timing. Spots the Baneling Nest. So should have an idea that it's going to be Ling Bane and probably Hydras once again. If it were roaches, you would probably have seen the Roachborn already. So hopefully Timbo is able to put those pieces together. Goes for an Immortal out of this robotics facility. Immortal, not the most useful unit against Lingbane Hydra, but they do decently against lurkers. If that we get there. Observer continuing to just peek around take a look-see. This one drone on wall duty, mining away at the wall. Not sure what these lings are doing. There's no way to get in there. Oh, okay. Gonna be a baneling drop. It's cute. Gotta morph this guy though. Yeah, layer's done, but no layer tech just yet. And oh, there it is. Spire. Okay. So not Hydras. I was off with that. It's gonna be Lingbane Mutos. More of a ZVT composition, but could still work in this matchup, of course. And most importantly, it could catch Timbo off guard. However, this observer gonna come in and spot it. Not sure why this queen is attacking its own Evo chamber. Here's a Hydralisk den, by the way, so I was not wrong after all. Timbo even giving his opponent heads up that he's attacking his own Evo chamber. Here's that drop loading on up those 4 banelings. Is Timbo paying attention and see where his vision is here? He is looking at his main base. So here it comes. Oh, he's not looking now. Uh-oh. Then down come the banelings. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. 7 probes going down. Could have been worse. As we see, there are some peppered up probes there, but 7 probes, not too shabby. Timbo trailing by 50 supply almost. I'm not sure why. He hasn't really been pressured aside from that baneling drop. It just hasn't really been on top of his macro, I suppose. He does have this 3rd base, but worker count quite substantially in the Zerg favor, 62 to 49. And the Spire is completed, but no Mutalisks on the field just yet. And in fact, it is going to be Lingbane Hydra, so I was right, I guess. Yeah, don't really know why you spent 200 on this Spire. Maybe he abandoned it when it got scouted. So yeah, I mean, forced out all these cannons. That's pretty good damage already, and I guess that plays into the supply discrepancy Timbo was forced to spend. Was that 450 minerals here for these 3 cannons? Another 300 here, not counting this one because he already had that, and then another 450 here, so it adds up. The army count 98 for Yellow Jello, and oh, these armies kind of accidentally colliding here, and oh, Yellow Jello not paying attention, taking some heavy hits before he realizes. So that was about the best fight that that Timbo could have asked for. Guardian Shield doing a lot of work here, and what a fight there from Timbo Slice, taking out that entire Zerg army for almost free. And now Yellow Jello is the one on the back foot. He had like a 30 supply lead, but like I said in the last game, the great equalizer is Yellow Jello's army control, and now he's trickling in with Lingbane. And oh, even some hot pickup micro, not the best. He saves 4 zealots, I guess that's something. But doesn't matter. Yellow Jello doesn't have a whole lot left. Once again, trickling in his Hydras. Hydras absolute garbage by themselves, and GG gets called. Timbo takes game number 5. Welcome back, folks. This is game number 6 and potentially the last game in this best of 7 series. We are looking at the main base of the man who is down 2 games to 3. This is the green Zerg player, Yellow Jello. And his opponent in the red, taking that last game off the back of a pretty perfect attack. It is the red Protoss. Both slice. So yeah, we saw it again. Yellow Jello, he was just moving his entire army somewhere, wasn't paying attention. Timbo got the jump on him. Got a few free hits before Yellow Jello realized what was happening, and just positioning wasn't great. Hydras were kind of naked, despite his, what was it at the time, like 20 supply lead or something. Lost the entire army for almost free. And Timbo was able to roll that into a victory. So here he is, 3-2 match point. The scout does see that it is a hatch gas. And he went all the way in this time. Usually people will just poke in, spot the hatchery, and that's enough information to back out most of the time. But that is why that Scarlet build works. It's it kind of tricks your opponent into thinking you went hatch first. I think she used it against in a ZVZ, but it does also work in ZVP. And yeah, spawning pool finishes. Does get that link speed almost right away. Double queens on the way. So once again, pretty standard opening from both players. Nexus complete. First, the main base rather is fully saturated, so rally is going to be both to the natural base. Not sure why Timbo does this for Protoss, but when he plays Zerg, he transfers half of his workers. It kind of works out to be the same in the long run. So it comes down to preference. Third base on the way for Yellow Jello. Link speed finishing up momentarily. He does have 2 lings, and they're not really doing a whole lot right now, not even working on the plates. So Yellow Jello perhaps feeling the pressure right now. Yeah, ideally they would be scouting, maybe taking a peek at the front of the base. Where are the overlords? One in the corner there. One here at this potential third base location, but it doesn't have vision of the front. This is kind of a weird map. It doesn't have a safe spot right outside the ramp, or the front door rather. Instead, it's back here, so a little bit out of the way. Still a better position than this. And spot like the entrance. But that overlord there in the corner of the main base is going to float on in. Going to end up spotting this robotics facility, but it is going to go down. And again, we see that supply blocks Yellow Jello. So again, for Zerg players, when you do that, you want the extra supply. You want to be able to make stuff after losing that overlord. So we see that mineral count getting a bit high there for the Zerg player, as he's feeling that. 4 overlords do pop now, and he's still floating a lot of money. Player is up and running. He does have larva, so what are you waiting for? 900 minerals. What is happening? Going for +1 Overlord speed as well. Now, finally, 12 drones in production. But yeah, seeing a lot of little things that Yellow Jello is making a mistake on, and it's a bit uncharacteristic because Yellow Jello's fundamentals are usually pretty sound. He's usually on top of like the droning, the Overlord production. That's kind of what we expect from Yellow Jello, just chipping away at a pylon for no reason and then losing all his lanes for nothing. That's expected, but like missing the production, floating so much money, that's a bit uncharacteristic for Yellow Jello. We're gonna see a Spire on the way once again. We didn't get any Mutalisks last game. This time, will we? Let's see. And oh, that's interesting. Flyer upgrades for the Protoss player. So he does have a... Oh, whoa. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even see that. Sorry about that. Did not see the Stargate. Now, did Yellow Jello spot that when he floated on in? No. So, there's no idea about that. And it's going to be an Oracle. Does already have one, so making a second one before he goes in. I thought I saw a Phoenix earlier, but no. Phoenix will be useful against these 7 Mutalisks that are popping out momentarily. Other than that, there's not too much anti-air for the Protoss. He has 2 Stalkers, so gonna need to shift into Phoenix production pretty quickly. Those 5 additional Stalkers going to be very useful in defense there. Yellow Jello once again going for a Baneling drop. Let's see how effective that is. Maybe these 4lings going to go for a bit of a distraction, or maybe not. They're just going to morph into Banelings themselves. Here comes Yellow Jello. This time the gateways do have vision of this, providing the heads up, but Timbo not paying attention. He is focused on his oracles, and these Banelings are... well, they're gonna go for the Stalkers instead, but still, 8 probes going down. We've got a bit of a attack there, and a big Ling run by on the 3rd base. Oracles doing work into the main base of the Zerg player, but one of those gonna go down. Lings continuing to ravish this 3rd base. There's so much going on right now. That's really trying to warp in some more Zealots on the defense there. 14 probes have gone down, 11 drones have gone down, and here comes the Mutalisk. How many is that? 10 Mutas, and I don't know if Timbo's going to be able to defend against this. He might just tap out here, desperately trying to make Phoenixes. 4 queued up, but that's just too little. And is it too late? 25 probes have gone down, and that number is just going to keep going up. I mean, yeah, you could fight the Stalkers, that's fine, I guess. Not the most important target. 27 probes going down, and that number still rising. 31-32 before this attack is deflected. So Timbo down to 25 workers. Yellow Jello still at a pretty healthy 69. Nice. And yeah, this game is Yellow Jello's to lose right now, as games are. He is trickling in with Zerglings. That's one way to give your opponent a bit of breathing room. But these Mutas still being an absolute menace. Going to take out this Artosis Pylon, depowers 3 of the gateways, but you don't want to fight the Phoenix head on. Does lose a few of these Mutas, and the Phoenix can give chase. They are faster than the Mutas, but Timbo does not Ling Bane going into the third base once again, squeezing into this very narrow choke point. But the Banelings set their eyes onto the Zealots, who are forced to run away. And during all that, the Lings just eating this Nexus. It is going to go down. So from bad to worse here for Timbo Slice, and the aggression's not even over. The Ling's going to run into the main and the natural. A few of them do end up getting choked out there. But that one or two Lings in the main base. So 3 more probes going down. Mutas are back once again, taking out that pylon, and now we have Corruptor support. Oh, we do have more of them here, but kind of sloppy here. I'm not sure why you're fighting, Yellow Jello. You're just throwing away units. Doesn't even matter. I mean, 40 supply up. This base in jeopardy once again, and Timbo claw his way back into this. Yellow Jello end up throwing once again. We shall see. Does save that base, and that's nice. But the defenses here a bit lacking. I would like to see this walled up so the Lings can't stream in here, forcing them to go the long way around. But Timbo has been under a lot of pressure for the past few minutes, and here's the air flock of the Zerg that consists of 13 mutas, 9 corruptors, so pretty formidable air army here for Yellow Jello. What does Timbo have in the air? Just a few Phoenix. Looks like he's not really continuing that production, which is a bit of an error. And this Oracle full energy does get found out. Looks like Timbo forgot about that. Would have been nice if that Oracle could have flown in, get some more harassment done, but it does get wiped out of the sky by these mutas and corruptors. 73 supplied to 124 of the Protoss, so not looking good for the red Protoss right now. Looks like Yellow Jello might be able to bring this to game number 7, but we're not there just yet. Let's see if Timbo can get something done. Now, the ground army, not too scary from the Zerg. The Banelings, of course, are the scary units. But the air flock, not going to be too useful against this. Once Holdeth thought the Banelings coming on in, and Timbo is a bit trapped, and that is the worst position you could be in. Everything gets cleaned up by the Banelings. Down to 60 supply is Timbo, and I don't think even Yellow Jello can bungle this now as he goes for the coup de grace, the killing blow, I think. Yeah, I mean, even wasting the Banelings on the Nexus doesn't matter. I don't think so. There's so many mutas. Corruptors spraying down the Nexus. This third Nexus somehow still alive as well, but it doesn't matter. GG gets called. Yellow Jello ties it up. Here we go to game number 7. Here we go, folks. This is the 7th and most likely final game of this series, unless we get a crazy draw. It is tied up 3 apiece. We're looking at the main base of the green Zerg with the clean game last one. Yellow Jello. On the top left, the red Protoss. Timbo Slice. So again, this is it. Game number 7 for all the marbles. Will Timbo bench LeBron, or will he not? It's like no deviation in openings from either player 15 hatch or Yellow Jello. Now, it has been mathed out by the pros that it's better to do an extractor trick, get up to 15 out of 14, go for the hatchery, then continue with your build. That's only a teeny bit more efficient. It ends up being a little more larva efficient. I think it was mathed out. It doesn't really matter hugely. Not at this level, at least. At the pro level, they want to eke out every little advantage. Gateway Nexus from Timbo Slice. Bit of an awkward front on this map. So, Cybernetics Core going down here next to the rocks, and then it's going to need another... Well, actually, this is kind of awkward. This one building's not going to be enough. I don't think you can fit 2 buildings, so he's going to have to put maybe a pylon or a cannon, which is an obvious weak point. Let's see what happens there. Now this base does have this essentially free expansion here. It does only have 4 minerals. So I'm not sure if either player will opt for that, at least early on. And here's that forge, and yeah, like this door is big. Gonna have to seal that up somehow. Makes things a bit awkward here. Toolings running their way across the map, navigating the little labyrinth over here in the middle of the map. We got some more lings trickling in. Not sure why they're coming 2 by 2, like they're loading onto Noah's Ark. However, I don't think Zerglings have gender. It's not like Zerg units reproduce together. They spawn out of the eggs. And yeah, not sure why he's continuing to just trickle in and die. There's that infamous Yellow Jello army control here once again. We're gonna get some damage onto this stalker, and more lings trickling in across the map. They are gonna take out that stalker. Cannon, bit late, but does finish up. Zealot does finish as well. Ling speed does finish, so that makes things a little dicier as well, but the Zealot will eventually clean up, and reinforcing the Stalker surely will be enough. It wasn't needed, but yeah, nice little pressure. I don't know if it was entirely worth it. It was a good 10 or so Zerglings. No, 14? 14 Zerglings, so yeah, all he got was a single Stalker, a bit of lost mining time. I don't think it was worth it. Overlord here, getting harassed by the Stalker, is gonna survive. But yeah, if I looked at this wall, I would go for a Ravager bust. Just file down this spot right here, take out both of these buildings, and just run in. But I don't think Yellow Jello is gonna be doing that. The Overlord still continuing to get bullied by that Stalker. Observer spotting pretty much everything here. Does spot the safety spores from Yellow Jello. We haven't seen that this series. We do see it this time around. Not sure why. I mean, he's in position to scout, so could have saved that money there. But Yellow Jello, 7 worker lead. Oh, does take out that observer as it still in range of the spore there, just barely. It's a little bit unfortunate. Like over on the Protoss side of things, we do have Blink being researched, and just continue to have to use this robotics facility for more observers. So that's not really what you want at this stage of the game. You kind of want to use that for Immortals, maybe Warp Prism harassment, or just for reinforcements, or get a robotics bay to go for heavier tech units. Now, that observer did spot those Lings running in a very odd angle, so that should trigger some alarm bells for Timbo Slice if he was paying attention, and looks like, yes, he is coming out to greet that. Yellow Jello is thinking of doing a cheeky drop once again, and he is going to, looks like, intercept these Lings, which are forced to run away. So that's not bad, kind of forcing the minerals and gas needed to morph that drop Overlord, which is not being used right now. And Timbo warping in some additional Stalkers, so looks like mostly a Stalker army this time around. He does have a few in the main base to deter any drops. Yellow Jello going for Hydralisk Den once again. Going for the Den again. No Spire this time. So Hydralisk Den does complete, loading up another drop. This Overlord was already very weak. Does not have Overlord speed, and a little bit confused by the order of upgrades that Yellow Jello goes for. He goes for, oh, hold that thought, big Baneling run by, but they crash into Stalkers, which is not the ideal target. We saw almost nothing going down from the Protoss player, so that was not good. 64 Lings in production. That's a lot of Lings, folks. But what was I saying before? Yeah, he goes for the Hydralisk speed first, which is not that useful. Another Baneling drop going into the natural, and that's gonna get some work done. 9 probes going down. Not too bad there. Yeah, that's ideally you want the range first. Same with lurkers. You want the range before the burrow. So don't know why Yellow Jello goes for that. But this is a lot of Lings and Banes, and this observer in view of that Overseer, is it going to be able to get away? Looks like, yeah, actually. I don't know why he made so many, but ooh, okay. Nidus Network being morphed here for the Zerg player. Now, what vision does he have on the Protoss
Army is much
side
stronger
of
now.
things? Not a whole lot, so he's going to have to float one of these in for the vision, but Timbo does have a decent perimeter of cannons here. It looks like, yeah, that's going to repel that Overlord, but maybe we can find an opening here. He does have full vision of his base, so if he's looking at the minimap, he should be able to spot that right there. Is Timbo paying attention? Where is his camera? You see the mini map where it's looking. We'll just look at that for now. And the scream of the Nidus, and there it is. Oh no! Lings streaming out. Now, luckily for the Protoss, it takes a long time for the Lings to stream out, so yeah, actually that was not bad at all. Only a few Lings were able to come out, and Timbo does clean that up. And don't forget, that was a bit of a heavy investment for the Zerg player. He made 64 Lings. He had to make the Nidus network, had to make the Nidus exit. So 61 workers for both players. Obviously, that favors the Protoss. But Yellow Jello does have the army supply lead. Lots of Lings, Banes, and Hydras. And that's a good army. As long as the Lings and Banes are there to protect the Hydras, that's good. This, however, is not good. This fight, he's just streaming into the narrowest choke in existence. But Timbo very out of position right now. These Void Rays not gonna do a whole lot against the Hydras. Activates the prismatic alignment, which is fully useless against this army composition. That ability only makes it so they do more damage versus armored units. But the Protoss ground army not gonna fare too nicely against the Ling Hydra army, and that might be it for Timbo Slices. The Cybercore goes down. GG gets called, and Yellow Jello taking the series.